This is the start of a brand new series. I've had a few streams on Juno with varying levels of success, but we're starting a brand new save today, a brand new career. I have graciously been given early access to the 1.3 update contracts, which, well, not all of them, but some of the contract rebalances and tweaks, particularly affecting the early game. So we get a little bit of a sneak peek there of the latest and greatest Juno experience. For those of you that don't know, Juno is kind of like Kerbal Space Program, except it has a focus on making everything configurable, everything procedural, which I really like considering that's how I play KSP anyway. And its performance is amazing. It's got a really nice soundtrack. It's got really cool developers and a really nice community. And I think it needs a little bit more love. So in this series, this first stream is going to stay public. It's going to be on the channel. But every subsequent stream, after streaming it, it's going to be made unlisted. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to clog up my channel page and everyone's subscription feeds with these streams, because they're going to be every Friday at this time. So every Friday, 7 p.m. GMT or UTC, we're going to be streaming this. I might miss a couple, but I'll let you know each stream whether I'm going to be there next week, but I will be here next week. And we're going to try and do that regularly. Oh, we have a first newt. Hello. Ahoy there. How goes it, Brady? Also, Matland sucks. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Corsaro. I should have updated the donation thing at the bottom. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's Corsaro. Yeah, it has to top up to 5 names, I think. It's the top donators this session that we have scrolling at the bottom. / previous session, if we haven't hit 5 yet on this session, I believe. So as I said, we're going to be streaming every Friday, and we're going to see if we can conquer the whole Drew system, or Juno system, I should say. I believe the star is called Juno, and then the Druids are the little people that you send into space. And I might, depending on how this series does, I might be doing a similar thing to what N9 does with N9SA, in that he edits the streams into summary videos. So 5 to 10 minute summary videos on what I've done the past few streams. We'll see if I decide to do that. Yeah, anyway, let's get stuck in. So we're going to make a new game, and it's going to be called the same as the previous attempts, Penguin Aerospace, but career mode is going to be set to custom, and the reasons for that will reveal themselves in due course. Here we are. Okay, so let's start our new career. Ta-da! So what do we do first? I think I head to the tech tree first. We haven't got our introduction from Elon Bezos. I don't know if we were supposed to get that or not. Or maybe I didn't turn on the tutorial thing. Do I have to turn that on? That's a good question. When you do that, do you set... Maybe it disables the initial starting experience, but it's fine. We don't need that. Let's see who's in the chat, by the way. We've got Excalibur, we've got Brickster. Do you guys like the chat box? I fixed it after last time. Actually has the names and a decent... Oh, it's a custom career, so you won't get it. Okay, that makes sense. So you don't get the introduction stuff. That makes sense if you're doing a custom career. But the reasons for the custom career will reveal themselves, okay? So, thanks, Will. Thanks for the note there. Hey, Deep Space Industries is here. Good morning, Junoers. Good morning indeed. So, let's unlock our first tech point. So, we've got the Druidman side, which gives us a crew limit, and the Druid. But we need some actual stuff to launch. So, I think the first thing we want to be doing is Backyard Scientist. Get ourselves a disc gyro, solid rocket motor, fin. Yeah, there we go. Let's grab that. Okay, that's all we can grab for now. Let's head on over to career. We have a new customer, and voila. The reason for the custom career thus revealed. After my complaints on the last 2 streams that I don't feel like the game should have human portraits or human characters, the Druids should have a mysterious appearance. Pedro, one of the developers, went and fixed it. So now, why does he have a cowboy hat on top of a space helmet? Nobody knows. And that's what makes it great. So the appearance of the Druids remains mysterious. We don't know what they look like. I'm going to imagine they look like sort of lanky blue aliens. Keep them different to the Kerbals. I don't know. Regardless, use your imagination. Isn't that fun? Is this part of the base game now? No, this isn't part of the base game. This is why I'm in a custom career. The only thing that's changed in the custom career is I've got the 1.3 update contracts a little ahead of time. So there's no point in me starting a 1.2 career just to have it become redundant when the 1.3 update eventually comes out. So I've got early access to those, and also the portraits have been changed, thanks to Pedro. But yeah, it's good fun. If you guys like this, I'll see if I can make it available. Pedro was the one that made it, but I'll make the custom career available for you guys. Not with the new contracts, but with these particular portraits. So, Buck Marshall's the mayor of the Juno village. Been trying to promote the aerospace sector. Right, so let's do we need to do the tutorial for this one? I don't think we need to. I think we could just design something from scratch this time. So, do we get tech points just for no, for some reason the tech tree was still flashing. Don't know why. Right, let's build a new craft. I'm drinking Guinness on this stream. It's been a long week. But Guinness is actually my one of my favorite alcoholic beverages. This is our command disk gyro. Yes, it is. Okay. So we want all of our volume dedicated to gyros, pretty much. Well, at least the 25% set. And let's add ourselves a fuel tank. Et voila. Probably needs to be a fair bit longer. And we'll have ourselves a nose cone. Oh, it did add it. I was like, where'd the nose cone go? And then I realized, oh yeah, it just made it really flat. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we don't need a tutorial for this. We'll need the tutorial for some of the later missions, but thankfully you get per mission tutorials, which I think is nice. You can decide on each one whether or not you actually need a tutorial for it or not. Just a single engine, do we think? Oh. This rocket is massive. Let's, oh, that was the wrong one. It's like I don't need a tutorial and I'm making a complete idiot of myself. Okay. Well, okay, let's take that off. And shrink that way down. I didn't realize quite how massive we were accidentally making this rocket, or how big the default control gyro is. Okay, let's start that again. Let's start again. There we go. Okay, let's make a nice skinny rocket. That's good. That's a good width for a rocket, I'd say. That rocket engine is on the side. We don't want that. So we're really just making a little firework just to launch up into the sky and get to grips with how the game works. So as you can see, everything's procedural. It's actually a very limited number of parts, which I quite like. I think it gives you much more control over what you're making. The fuel tanks by default are 2 meters in diameter. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, the default size for the command disk is 1 meter, apparently. Okay, well, now we know. I've only ever done this with the tutorial before. But let's add some fins, shall we? Yeah, we'll go for 4 of these. Let's make these a little bit smaller, though. Don't need to have much in the way of these fins. Probably make this a little bit longer, actually. Can you stretch stuff with something attached to the bottom of it, or do you have to take the bottom piece off? I get the impression you have to take the bottom piece off. Let's make this a fair old size, 'cause it's only tiny. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Who wants to make it look cool? Do you want to just launch it? I kind of want to make it look cool. Let's have a little look. Do you need to remember it's in here? Huh. So, let's go for this one. So we want gloss, semi-gloss, flat. We can pick textures, can't we? Oh, you can pick a theme for the whole thing, actually. That's quite nice. Maybe there'll be just a cool theme in here that we like. Not sure. Let's go for a custom one. Was the texture in the part properties? That is... this side? No. This side. Aha! There we go. What do we fancy texture-wise? We went for panels before. I think we'll go for channels. We'll make it look nice and slapped together. And then if we make this really shiny... Actually, we can probably just apply one of the metal ones. That's heavy metal, light metal. Ah, there we go. Got an aluminium rocket. Oh, perfect. Okay. And then this one, can we change the texture on this? Just going to move my mic out of the way a little bit. It's in my face. Yeah, here we go. Insulation, grooves, or none. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we can make it match this. Hexagonal panels. Channels. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. We've got ourselves a nice janky rocket. And I'm just going to make these... We want the trim to be red. Is it trim 2? No. Is it the primary? Which part of this is the blue bit? Trim 3? No. Ah, it's trim 4. Okay. Cool. That's a nice enough rocket, I think. Do we have the right type of fuel in here? Yes, we do. Set it all automatically. That should be fine. Maybe. Probably. Cool. Is that worth saving? Probably not. We just launch it. And from the Juno Village pad, let's go! Rocket launch time! Shiny silver. Simple texture looks bad. Yeah, I agree there. Like, I like all the other options it gives you, but it's a decent default texture. But I think, yeah, a rocket with it doesn't look really like a rocket. Particularly since at the moment, with basically a single guy in his back garden building rockets. That's the impression I get from the state of our career right now. Okay. And look, we've got parallax textures. We've got like high-res planet textures. Just taking a minute to load everything in, I think. Because I've set everything to absolute max since our previous streams. And okay, let's do this. Lock our heading. And we're off! Hey! Got one of our moons in the distance there. We'll be heading there sooner rather than later. So I have to go higher than 25 kilometers and just drop nearby. We're just going to pitch over just a little. Just a teeny bit. Just so we don't whack back into the village. I don't think they'll thank us for that. Can you throttle the solid engine or not? No, you can't. Okay. I just thought I'd check. It makes sense that you can't. You never know, it might be a hybrid motor. I mean, it's not. It's a Goblin solid motor. But, you know. Does the game have hybrid motors out of interest? Hybrids are actually really interesting. One of the most technically highest performance rocket engines ever built was a hybrid motor. But it was a little bit too dangerous. But that's using a solid fuel and then a liquid oxidizer, or vice versa, I suppose, but usually it's that way around. Yeah, this is well designed for our first trip into space. We're not quite reaching space today, but we are achieving some milestones. How high you've gone when in orbit, this is defined by your apoapsis, and I believe our apoapsis is somewhere. I think I need to bring up the info in the bottom right. Oh no, I've just got all these different sliders. Can I see my apoapsis on here, or do I have to unlock that later? We've got a surface velocity, our current altitude. We haven't unlocked the map view yet. That's probably why we can't see it. Okay, we might as well flip the rocket on over, since we are now falling. And if we speed up time a little bit, we'll just point ourselves at the ground. North, east, west. Ah, you got a lockdown as well. So you got this relative to your surface. And I assume if we change that to orbit, yeah, we have different options pop up. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Into the ground we go. I think 2 times is as fast as the physical warp goes without me modifying stuff. Yeah, so we'll have to just watch it slowly coast into the ground. It will be gently coaxed into the ground by the atmosphere, or, well, more accurately, gravity. This one's definitely hitting a house in the village. We did pitch over a little bit. I think... Oh, it's a little bit. It's a little bit more on target than I would like. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're over there. So... Yeah, no, we're fine. ICBM gaming, indeed. Physical warp can go 10 times faster. Okay, well, I don't know how. Regardless, let's show this mountain what we think of it. Hell yeah! Boom. Paraceratherium says it's your first stream here. Hello! Your craft exploded upon impact. That... What? I thought we achieved it, didn't we? I thought we were supposed to. I thought we finished the contract. Did we not? What did I miss? Did I do something wrong? Reach 25 kilometers above sea level. That's what we did. Drop nearby. Oh, I don't think I dropped close enough. They had to drop within a kilometer. I actually dropped too far away. Well, that's dumb. Scroll down at the bottom to increase warp to 4 times. Ah. Yeah, okay. This time we will try and hit a house then. Okay, you know, let's see if we can actually hit a house. That's what we'll do. We'll do this one in higher physical warp. I did definitely accelerate enough, yeah. It was just I didn't drop near enough. Yeah, drop nearby. I think it has to drop within a kilometer, really. But that's fine. We'll try again. This time we'll see if we can hit a house. Here we go. Okay. Can we speed up? Yeah, we can. Cool. So, I'm told you scroll somewhere to increase the warp. Time warp is via the settings. Ah, okay. Game. Aha, here we go. Fast forward speed. So people are saying set that to like 5? Yeah, I think that's a good speed, isn't it? Cool. Let's try that. Yeah, that works quite nicely, doesn't it? Bada bing, bada boom. It'd be nice if you could have different levels of it, though. Like in KSB. I do like the different levels of physical warp. Yeah. Okay. When launching, you need to hit... Yeah, we are hitting... We are hitting that. We just need to be... Oh, no, we need to achieve higher acceleration while under 1 kilometer. Right. Okay, so that means we actually need to redesign this. So we need to maybe make it a little bit smaller. Because we're going too high at the moment anyway. Let's try that. Ooh. Okay, we'll have a bit of a smaller rocket. Boom. Going well already. Now, we just need a smaller rocket, I think. We're already overperforming. It's a nice gimmick of early career mode. They set the game time so Luna and Brigo are on the horizon. So I assume that's 2 of the moons, right? Because I think it's got 3 moons. So we have to achieve over 10 meters per second squared underneath 1 kilometer. Okay. interesting. I'm not sure why exactly that's a requirement, but we'll achieve it anyway. There we go. Now we're going faster. Okay, yeah, I think we've achieved that. Now we just need to reach 25 kilometers. Okay. Hey, look at that. Beautiful. Crash at least 500 meters away. Oh, so you do have to actually drop a certain distance away, not drop within a kilometer, which would have been silly. Yeah, I just didn't read the contract requirements. The thing is, I haven't done this contract like properly before. I've always just done it the tutorial way, which I think makes the rocket a lot slimmer. So yeah, that's why. But there we go. Third time's the charm. I don't think we're quite going to hit a house, because if we did, we would fail the contract very understandably. Right, bada bing, bada bing. We're getting pretty close, though. Some shrapnel is definitely going to hit like a innocent bystander. Bit of high-speed rocket shrapnel. What's a bit of rocket shrapnel between friends? There we go. Awesome! We'll save that one. Cool. First contract complete. Nice! Oh, we didn't say mucho gusto to Buck Marshall. Right. Fireworks are one of the best inventions of Drumankind. That is Drumankind. I thought it would be like Druidkind or something. But for all Drumankind? Potential future series? No. We're not going to do that. Cool. 30 kilometers and then blow it up. I don't know how high our previous one reached, but I think we'll need a few more engines for that. Okay, so how much explosive stuff do we need? Does it say how big a boom you have to make? Doesn't seem to specify how big a boom you have to make, right? So I guess we'll just use the same craft. I think we hit 30 kilometers with this one, so we'll just see if we can do it again. There's a law reason why Buck wears a helmet now. Yeah, I like that. Druman is a play on human, and Druid would be man or whatever. Yeah. I didn't know if it would be... Yeah, Druman, I guess, instead of human. But it's like for all mankind rather than humankind. Although I guess you can... You know, humankind is still correct. It is the name of a game, right? So therefore it must be correct. But if you were going to make a snappy series name, it'd probably be something along the lines of For All Druidkind. I don't know. I'm saying that like I'm going to make a series with that name. I'm not. I do want to make a realism, well, a Juno New Origins realism overhaul series at some point. But I want to conquer the stock solar system first, because they put so much effort into all these planets, it would be a shame to boot up a new game and just immediately try and do stuff in a different solar system. And also, it's not quite at a point where you can really play it. Although the real scale solar system mod exists, a lot of the other mods are outdated and such and just need a little bit of love. Right, can we get to 30 kilometers? Yes, we can. Kaboom! There we go. Cool. There we go. We have ourselves some fireworks. So we've got another fireworks one, which I think you have to, have a certain amount of boom factor. We've got the going sideways mission, land at least 30 kilometers away from the village. But we have some new tech. So let's head over here and have a little look at what we can do. So I think, although we can head into some of this stuff, struts and all sorts of different things, novice managers, get more contracts, more active craft, and the map view, that's going to be useful. Though common ground actually costs nothing. I don't know why we haven't grabbed that. I think we're going to want to go for some more rocket tech. I'm not going to focus on the RC stuff today. I think today we're going to see if we can get to orbit. Now that is probably a tall order for a 3-hour stream, but we'll try. We'll try. We'll see if we can get to orbit. So, we've got parachutes. We don't need those right now. Check your staging. And chemistry lover. We get a bunch of new rocket stuff. We get Carolog stuff. Pressure fed engines. Bell nozzles. We get a gnome engine. As close as a deflating balloon you can get in terms of complexity, but also in terms of thrust. We're going to go for that. And that uses pretty much all of our tech points. We won't do a Carolox one just yet, though. Because I think we can achieve this next contract with our starting craft. It's only crashed 30 kilometers away. There's no altitude we have to reach, I don't believe. So we'll see if we can do this last one with our starting craft. And then we'll maybe build ourselves a Carolox rocket, which would be pretty cool. Might build ourselves a little replica of the V2. That'd be nice. Even though that didn't use Carolox, it used like really, really highly refined vodka, I believe. They actually made the rocket fuel out of potatoes. So it's technically a very high concentration ethanol. Okay. Here we go. Right, and let's pitch on over this away. So it's just crashed at least 30 kilometers away. I think we can manage that quite easily. Good luck and look out for solar storms. Thanks, Annex. Oh, honestly, I did a For All Kerbal Kind stream, which was, I believe, the lunar orbit mission. Also, we want this to hit like 45 degrees, ideally. So let's have it try and aim for that. But yeah, it was the lunar orbit mission, and every other message in the chat was just continually, watch out, solar storm, Billy, look! And making me look up at the board. Like, there wasn't one. The entire stream, like the entire chat, like one person would say it, and then everyone else would get set off thinking, oh no, there's a solar storm. When there just wasn't one. There was never a single solar storm in that entire mission. All it took was one person going, hey, look, solar storm, and then everyone would freak out and be trying to warn me. Most people not having played Kerbalism, not knowing what the warning signs for one of those is, just taking people's word for it. I don't think there are solar storms in Juno though, so I think we're all right. Hello, Annex. How you doing? There's a tutorial for getting to orbit, so if you can get that contract, you can use that. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Cool. We just need to crash 30 kilometers away. I think we can do that. Lock our velocity prograde. Completed tier 1 of Drew distance flying by traveling further than 10 kilometers. We can probably beat that. We might do some planes later. Depends if we get bored of rockets, but I think we can probably hit orbit today. Why doesn't this rocket have treads? Oh, you are in you are on dangerous ground, Eamon Kearney. Dangerous ground. Right. Cool. Let's save that one. Nice. See, we don't need us any tutorials. We're fine. Though we probably will need an orbit tutorial. It'd be nice actually if we could do it without the tutorial. That'd be cool. Depends how much Delta V we need. I assume we'll need something similar to reaching orbit on Kerbin, since I believe it's 1/10 scale, same as KSP. So that'll be what, about 3.5, 4 kilometers a second. So we can get staging. Yeah, let's grab staging, sure. Unlocks a bunch of new contracts too. So let's have a little look. So we need to crash at least 100 kilometers away. We've got wet rockets. And we've got fireworks. So I believe this is the furthest we've got in the game in 2 streams. It's wet rockets and going sideways. So we're going to accept both of these. And we're going to build a much bigger rocket. Not a staged rocket still. We don't need one of those. But how do we start from scratch? Can you start from scratch? presumably. New craft. Here we go. Okay, so this is by default how wide? Yeah, 0.5 meter wide by default. Okay, well, let's make it... Yeah, let's have 0.5 meter. Let's make ourselves a V2, shall we? Can you enable, like, crossfeed of fuel on this thing? That's what I want to know. Because I want to be able to put fuel in the nose cone, but have it so that the engine can still access it. Is that possible? Fuel line. Aha, there we go. That's what we need. Okay, so that's now a fuel line. Which means we can hopefully put fuel into this nose cone and get ourselves a V2 looking thing. We got ourselves into stage, but we don't need that just yet. Right, can we change the curve of this? I'm sure we can. Fuel type 0, zilch, zip, nada, nothing. I appreciate that. Style normal. Is there a way you can set like a curve on a part? It's in the additional settings menu. Is that this one? No. Oh, is it this one over here? I'm relying on the chat so much. No way to change the curve, but you can just add more parts to approximate a curve. Well, Deep says that you can. Oh, unless Deep was referring to the fuel line, which... Yeah, Deep probably was. Okay, we can't change the curve, that's fine. We'll just have... There was a way to turn the snap off, wasn't there? Yeah, there is. There we go. Add multiple fuselages and adjust their radius. Yeah. Right, how do you duplicate a part again? Is it right click? Yeah, right click. Cool. Yeah, that's looking close enough. Cool. Okay. See, I'm getting the hang of it. Right, we want a gnome engine. Very nice. Ooh. Okay. Can we offset that in a little bit? Put our grid back to what it was. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Let's give ourselves some... Just gonna move myself over a little bit. Give ourselves some fins. I think we still just have the same basic fins, but that's okay. There we are. What do the V2 fins look like? They're kind of like that, right? Something like that. Yeah, that looks good. Right, we got fuel in these. We haven't got fuel in here. Let's put fuel in here. There we go. We want... How do we set what fuel type we got in there? That's a good question. Is it over here? So this one's got Carolox. Starting thrust to rate ratio is less than 1, is it? Oh. Yeah, that's a fair point. We might have bitten off a little more than we could chew here with this this V2. Okay, we'll make it a little bit thinner. That'll work. And we'll do it with 3 rather than... There we go. We got a slightly more anorexic V2. I guess we don't really want that much more fuel then if our starting thrust to weight ratio is that low. Yeah, maybe we just make this nose cone. Oh, that was the wrong one. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Make this nose cone a little bit. This looks really silly now. No, that's cute. That's cute. I like that. That's fine. Auto select fuel type. Apparently I've got on. Where is that? So say I did want to put fuel in this. Ah, there we go. Okay, that makes sense. But if you fill that, the starting thrust to weight ratio is 1. So that's not great. Still, let's go for a thrust to weight ratio of... I mean, as long as it's above 1, doesn't matter, does it? So yeah, we'll get 50% in the nose cone. We can always add more engines, expand it a bit more later. But yeah, this engine's a little bit more anorexic than I thought. Yeah, it's shy of 6 kilonewtons, so it's not great. Right, we don't really need any gimbal on this, right? So if we disable that, it makes it cheaper, I seem to remember. So available funds. Yeah, so that makes it way cheaper if we take the gimbal off, because we don't really need it. We got some fins, and we got some control gyros here. So that'll be enough, I think. We only have pressure-fed Carolocks. Oh, we can increase the size of the engine, but... Yeah, you know, maybe we'll do that. How's that? Yeah, let's increase the size of it so that we can fill this with fuel. And have a decent thrust to weight ratio of like 1.5. Yeah, we'll go for a 60% size engine. That's a decent. So, okay. It comes back to Juno being all procedural, doesn't it? I didn't realize you could change all this much stuff. We've only got the bell nozzle, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Increase the nozzle length, but I assume it's set to a decent optimum for sea level or just above sea level by default. You have to let me know that. Obviously, if you are going into vacuum, you want it to be much, much higher. But, yeah, what's our expansion ratio? Let me environment. Aha, so let's put it into... Ah, right, okay. So it might need to even be a little bit bigger. So yeah. Oh wow, you even get the plume changes as you change the altitude. Oh, that's amazing. That's really cool. So you see here, we've overexpanded our exhaust, right? So that means that the pressure of the exhaust is lower than the ambient atmospheric pressure. So you see it sort of squeezes the exhaust in and you get these Mach diamonds. I believe these plumes got added in the latest update. One of the more recent updates anyway. But then as you see, as the ambient pressure decreases, you then get an ideally expanded flow. So this is the target, obviously, because all of your energy is going in the right direction. The best profile you could aim for, but obviously you can't change the shape of your rocket engine as you're ascending, so you need to sort of optimize it for a little above sea level. Then as you head out into vacuum, it expands out. So you want to have a much longer nozzle to try and expand the pressure of your exhaust. Okay, that's cool. We do need a bigger engine. So we want our engine to be about that big. 70%, that's a good number. And that looks about right for the size, actually. I am going to rotate this round. There we go, because then that looks pretty good. Nice! We have ourselves a little babby V2. And all these parts named after cities in Alaska. The parts have names. Nose cone, fuel tank, command disc. I don't think they have names at all, do they? Is there a city in Alaska called Nose Cone? Or is it just the engines you're talking about? Gnome engine. Is there a city in Alaska called Gnome? The old engines had this as well, but didn't look nearly as good. And the original engines only had one style of plume, even in orbit. Right, okay. Cool. No, it's really cool to see that. Really cool to see those effects. Yeah. As someone who's done a degree in spacecraft engineering, this is, like, porn to me. Right, I think that's good. Let's launch that. Village pad. Cool, let's go. Nome is a city in Alaska, not Gnome. Okay, that makes more sense. Overexpansion damage, the ultimate enemy of old version to new version compatibility. Oh, science lessons with Beardy. Yeah, well, again, I did a degree in this stuff, so... This is a kind of chunky looking V2, isn't it? I think it's cute. Oh, we didn't change the way it looks, did we? Do we want to change the way it looks now? Yeah, I think we do. I think we do. We need to set it. It needs to look cool. It needs to look cool. Okay, sorry to anyone who's like annoyed now because we were just about to fly a mission, but we need to just quickly give it some better textures. Oh, we could camouflage it. It can really be a V2. Or should we just groove it? Nah, let's camouflage it. Let's make it a missile. Heck yeah. Okay. And then we can put the camouflage on that as well. Maybe? Yes, we can. Cool. And then color-wise, we got any... There's Cosmonaut. That looks pretty good, actually. Covert. Ah. Covert is pretty good. But I do want... Is it this one applied to that one? There we go. Yeah! That's a look. Okay, we'll save this one. Save this one as... I don't really want to call it a V2. Well, we said it's powered by vodka, right? I mean, it's Keralox, but sure, we'll just call it Smirnoff. Smirnoff 1. Beautiful. Rule of cool is the most important step. I couldn't agree more, Smilligan. Like Eve from Wall-E. Was that before I did the paint scheme, I assume? Yeah, the white and blue. I can see that. So something people would have built in the early 60s. Well, that is the vibe we're going for. Early 60s in my back garden rocketry. Missed moments to name it something Lounge name to continue the meme. Yeah, I mean, you know, I do say Matt Lounge sucks at every possible opportunity, but... I am trying to... I think this series, you know, we've got Penguin Aerospace. I think let's name the rocket something unique to each one. We'll lay off Matt for a little bit. Right, we need to drop the rocket in the water, which means heading that away, I think. Yeah, that away. So it's not quite north. That's like northwest. So yeah, pretty much directly that way. We can manage that. Oh wow, we take off pretty damn quickly. Did I put gyros in this? I didn't put gyros in it, did I? Yeah, it's a good thing we have revert flight here. Yeah, there we go. That makes more sense. Right, let's try that again. So, save. There we go. Attempt number 2. Forget that one. It's fine. Do you think you get arrested for making a V2 replica in your garage? Then you get arrested for making any kind of rocket in your garage. But, you know, credit where credit's due. First object to... Human-made object enter space. Though it is interesting that fundamentally rocket design just hasn't really changed much or developed much since the V2. Yeah, of course you've got advancements in refining that principle, but the actual rocket science itself hasn't really changed. The big breakthrough really is NASA's rotating detonation engine. That's the first time we've had a major sort of leap forward in the actual science behind. Oh, okay, yeah, that works a bit better. Oh, that's the wrong way. We want that way. Oh no, it doesn't want to go that way. Come on. Turn, please. Yeah, we went the wrong way. We've gone the wrong way. Okay. Third time's the charm. People talk about the V2 like it isn't a weapon of mass destruction. A weapon of mass destruction, no, because that's biological, chemical, or nuclear weapons. It is still a weapon, yes. But more people died building the V2 than were actually hurt by it. It wasn't very good at actually, you know, being a weapon of war. It was more important for the space program. Later down the line. We might need a bit more control authority here, or just to pitch over later. Or maybe add some gimbal to this engine, because this is, yeah, the gyros aren't quite working. Yeah, let's just pitch over later in flight, because I want to kind of save the cost of the gyros. People talking about like overhyping the V2. It's not hyping the V2, it's just acknowledging its contributions to scientific advancement, right? And the fact that, you know, we wouldn't have landed on the moon when we did if the designer of the V2 hadn't designed the rocket to get us there, right? You know, history's not black and white. History's just a whole pool of grey. But I think it's important to... Yeah, you can't just not acknowledge some things. Contributions to humanity just because, yes, it's designed for and did a terrible thing. Still, you know, an important milestone. V2 is black and white, yes. Yeah, you know what? That's correct. You got me there. Fair point. Oh, I realize we can throttle this engine, can't we? Yeah. Yeah, we probably should have throttled it down a little bit in the lower atmosphere. But that's fine. Let's get our altitude above sea level because we're above mountains right now. So we need to reach 30 kilometers over ground level and see if we can get into that water. And I don't think we're really going to be going fast enough. But let's aim for 45 degrees. We'll still get the going sideways contract, but it'd be nice if we could get the other one too. Right, let's see. You see a lot of, yeah, I like what you're saying, Club RD. A lot of our modern science is based on a lot of horrible things, but ultimately help humans. SpaceX started with Musk trying to buy an ICBM. Yeah. I believe his initial plan was to try and land a greenhouse on Mars, right? To try and promote space exploration or something. Oh, you know what? I think we might reach the water after all. Wow, we reached 80 kilometers altitude as well. Nice. Then he went over to Russia had tried to buy some ICBMs and they wanted to overcharge him and he didn't like them because they had social skills, and of course he doesn't. Yeah, let's have this horizontal, see if we can get a little bit of lift and make it just about to the water. Come on, we can do it. Ah, oh, come on! I feel like if I'd flown this slightly better, we definitely could have reached that. No, I think we can definitely do better than that. We're so close. Yeah, okay. We're going to try one more time. We're going to try that again. I think we just need to pitch over to 45 degrees a little bit earlier because we had quite a bit of altitude that we didn't actually need there. Do the records of Braun's doings are kind of spotty. Yeah, I mean, von Braun, very rightly, I think, shouldn't be celebrated. I think, yes, acknowledges contributions to space exploration, but he is still responsible for the deaths of many, many people, and I would even say directly responsible. And I think For All Mankind handles that quite well, in that, in how they handle that sort of von Braun arc. See, why is the target going? There we go. It's okay. So it's T to toggle. Locking the current heading. I think we pitched over a little bit too much though, because we are pitching on over a little bit faster than I'd like, but hopefully we'll get out the atmosphere fast enough that won't be a problem. Really, because if you want to go a long distance, basically just aim for 45 degrees. You know, until you're getting up to near orbital velocity, where the actual curvature of the planet starts to make a real difference. Yeah, you know, that's fine. We'll keep it at 45. Obviously, you want to get out of the atmosphere as much as possible before pitching over. But that hasn't quite worked. Yeah, I don't think this one's going to work quite so well. I mean, we'll see, but don't think this one's going to reach the water. Do you ever think that KSP2 will ever fully replace KSP1? Replace? No. I think it'll very much be its own thing. You know, it will get to a point where it has more content and it's more polished than KSP1, I think, but KSP1's always going to have a place in my heart. And I think just in the modding scene, I mean, the KSP2 modding scene will have a long way to go, because obviously KSP1 is frozen development now, which means it's in a mod renaissance because they don't have to recompile for every new version. KSP2 is going to be in development for a long time. KSP2 won't even have a fraction the mod scene that KSP1 does for a very long time, I think. So maybe eventually, but not for a long time. Why is it locking the heading like there when I want it here? See what I mean? It's trying to pitch it over there. Why is it doing that? There we go. So now it's locking it there. Why is it locking it like over that? This over here on the nav ball. That's strange. I don't know. That's weird, right? Why is it doing it? If you had wings and make it the equivalent of the A6, it could reach the water. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, these aren't control surfaces. They're just little fins. They keep it stable, but they don't give us any control, which isn't ideal. We haven't unlocked control surfaces yet, I don't believe. But we'll unlock them soon. Right, here we go. Let's begin our pitch over. And let's aim for that 45-degree mark. Now we're out of the bulk of the atmosphere. I think we screwed up even more than the first time we did this. We might just need a bigger rocket, to be fair. Yeah, I think we just went even higher. No, we might reach it. Come on. It's just because we can't pitch over too early because we lose control of the vehicle. But we're just not quite making it. Will For All Kerbal kind of have a storyline? I mean, it already kind of does have a storyline, to be fair. We're going to try this one more time, by the way. And then I'm just going to build a bigger rocket. It kind of does have a storyline. It follows, well, loosely follows historical events, but we don't want to script anything. But we have, we have events and stuff, and with Carnassa joining the series, he's setting us secret military contracts and things to try and sort of spice things up, create a little bit of conflict. So, it has a form of a storyline, I suppose. Maybe adjust your heading so the rocket hits the water closest to the space center. I think that is the water closest to the space center, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's the closest we're going to get. I think we're pitching over too fast again. This is really finicky to do without control surfaces. We don't have enough science to to do. KSP3 is out already. Not quite, Max. Not quite. This is Juno New Origins. But I think, instead of comparing it to KSP, it's an alternative to KSP. And it does things differently. And I like that. It's just a different take on a similar sort of mission, right? And that's cool. See, this is what I don't get. Why is that going that way and then it locks to this? It's weird, right? Not just me, it is weird that it's doing that. It's not a clone, Max. It's very much its own thing. It does things differently. It's a much more focus on procedurality, configurability. And I like that because, as I said, that's how I play KSP anyway. Pushing the egg to its limits. I think it can do it. I really think it can do what we want it to do. We're just going to throttle down now. We're sort of in the upper atmosphere. Until we get a bit further out. Okay, I think this ascent trajectory is actually pretty good. Over 10 kilometers, so we'll start our pitch over. Because you can actually control the vehicle now. So we get ourselves to 45 degrees. And there we go. And let's burn that engine. Not a clone and upgrade. Over KSP1 stock? Yes, definitely. Over KSP1 modded? I don't know. Juno just hasn't got quite the same mod scene as KSP, but that's not Juno's fault. It's just a fact of it not having the same kind of player count. Okay, I think that ascent is as good as things are going to get. So if that doesn't get us to the water, then I don't know what will. See, we're not going to quite the same heights. We've put a lot more energy into our lateral velocity. And yeah, I don't see us making this. I don't quite think it's possible with this current design. We certainly tried, though. What we'll do is we'll just finish this one. And then we'll go unlock fins. So we got a bit better control. And we'll increase the engine size. And we'll just make it a bit bigger. How far did we go? Oh, quite a way. Don't know exactly how far we went. But boom! Did some of it survive? Oh, wow! Some of it survived. Not that I'll ever find it, because look, it's so well camouflaged. But yeah, I think it still paid for itself. Yeah, still paid for itself, so it's fine. Oh, we get 21k back just from recovering it. Did the engine survive? The engine did survive! Wow! Well, there we go. That more than paid for itself then. Going high. So what's this one? Reach 80 kilometers. I think we can probably do that actually with the V2 or the Smirnoff one, as we're going to call it. So, you know, we'll do that one. How much did that one pay? 50k. Yeah. We will upgrade it next, but I think we just do a quick launch and just get a bit more money. Then we'll go unlock control surfaces and we'll increase the size of it a bit. The art style reminds me of Kit Bash Model Club a little bit. Yeah, I think it's similar in a way. But I think Kit Bash Model Club launch with the payload. Oh, we don't have a... We need to add a payload to it. What do we need to add to it? Is that like a science payload camera thing? What are we adding exactly? Launch with the payload. Launch from the village launch pad. What is that? I don't know what that is. Do we have to load this tutorial to do it? Or is it this? Is it a camera? Oh, here we go. Small experiment encapsulated in a simple fairing. We might have a slightly overbuilt rocket here. Can we change the size of this at all? No. Well, that's not going to fit on the V2, so we'll do that with a different rocket. If we head back out... Oh, I don't want to do that. We can go unlock. Some wings. Is it touching the sky? Control surfaces. Yeah. That's it. That's what we want. Bird wannabe. I don't think we can quite get it, though. Ah, we're 5 tech points short. We've got RC enthusiasts. We've got landing gear, car wheels, and some contracts, and a structural panel, but not quite enough to get control surfaces. But we can still make the rocket bigger, so we're going to do that. Right, if we make the... I think we just need to make it longer, really, because it's quite fat at the moment. It looks weird. Right. Environment. What's our thrust to weight ratio right now? 1.2. Let's make this engine a bit bigger. 75%. That's pretty good. Oh, that's the crew one. That's the detail. And this is the program. Okay, interesting. Right, cool. That should be more than enough. Let's try that. Right, this one will reach the water, because the water one pays out a lot. So we can do that one, then we can go focus on some more milestone progression ones. Yeah, it's a thing. Tutorial sounding rocket, it has few, make going high, complete the rest of the rocket contracts until orbit. Yeah, but the tutorial's boring. We don't want to do the tutorial. We've already done it a couple times as well. So I know that, you know, we're not being the most successful without doing the tutorial, but that's part of the fun. Yeah, it's not the fun experience, really, if it's designing the rockets for you. All right, here we go. So he's doing it again. Why is it trying to lock the velocity that way? Weird. I don't know. Anyway, I think we've got a decent ascent trajectory again. Right, come on. Come on, we can get to the water this time. So once we get to about half of our fuel, we'll throttle our engine down. When we get to about 10 kilometers, we'll make sure we're pitched over to 45 degrees. Does Carnassus for all Kelbokine episode 4 parallel to your episode 22? Yes, I believe it does. If you want to know what order they're in, just go on the playlist on the channel. They're all in order that they happen on there. So they're all in sync with each other. So I understand it's a little confusing with Carnassus having a different episode numbering to us. But yeah, just follow the playlist and you can't go wrong. Or just watch them in the order they come out, which is what they're in the playlist. Just tuned into the stream. Hope you've been doing good. Thanks, Yosha. Oh, Paul's here. Hello. Did you have a good Christmas, New Year? I did. Yeah, I went home for Christmas. I went home and just spent it with my family. I didn't take my computer. I didn't let myself even be tempted to do any work. And it was great. Honestly, I had a really nice Christmas. It was just very chill, very relaxed. Watched the final season of The Crown. And I got a Lego Concorde as well, which has now got pride of place in my house. So yeah, it was good. Honestly, like, as I've got older, I've come to appreciate spending Christmas and New Year with family and having it just be a quiet affair. I've gone out on New Year's Eve twice, and both times it's just kind of depressing, really. Yeah, I think staying at home, watching Jules Holland, just spending quality time with family, it doesn't really get much better than that. That's my opinion, though. Right, this is definitely going to hit the water. Surely. Well, we achieved, we left the atmosphere without the payload. Yeah, this is going to hit the water just fine. Cool. But yes, this one's just to get to 80 kilometers, and this is kind of overbuilt for that. Maybe we can achieve multiple contracts with one. I don't know. If we change this into a similar thing to these fuel tanks, then we could strap the sounding payload on the tip of it, but it'll look a bit weird, but I guess it'll work. Concorde gang, me too! Yeah, I did not realize that the Lego Concorde was quite as massive as it is. I thought it'd be like, I don't know, like a decent size, like maybe that big. But it's like over a meter long. It's insane. It's so detailed as well. I did lose a piece of it transporting it back to where I live now. There we go. Look at those ICBM flames. We're really showing that ocean what what's what. But yeah, you like twist the tail and the landing gear lower, and it's got the control surfaces, it's got one of the cabins as well. It's even got the toilets and stuff on the Concorde. It's great. It's a really, really nice model. Of course, as soon as I built it, like now I'm just like, oh, now I kind of want to build a Tupolev 144 Concorde ski. But maybe we'll save that for when I have a little bit more expendable income. And sploosh! Wow, some of that survived again. Not much of it, but, you know, less than last time. Cool. And we've achieved wet rockets. And we've got a little bit here. Oh, no, there's nothing there we can actually recover. Okay, cool. But we've got 80 tech points for doing that one. That was actually a really rewarding one. I think because you have to go so far down range to achieve that. Orbital maneuvers. So is that where you get? Oh, yeah, you get like RCS engines and bits and bobs. Right. We want to get Bird Wannabe so we can unlock control surfaces. There we go. And is that all for now? We don't need to return the payload that we're sending into space, do we? So what we probably want is the map view. There we go. I think that's all we can afford. Pretty much. Yes, it is. Okay. So we've got going high. The jump. That's the one we. That's one of the RC enthusiast contracts. Going sideways. Here we go. Try to fall 500 kilometers away from the village. So I think we can probably do that. I think because we just did that anyway. But let's do this one and fireworks. I think. Do we need to return this? Reach 80 kilometers. Nah, so we can probably do this and the fireworks one. So we'll design a new craft for that, and we'll build it around that particular payload. There we go. Okay. This one probably doesn't need to be too complicated, does it? That will probably just be fine as is. Just give it a solid motor. Give it some wings. Yeah, let's give it some actual proper control surfaces. How do I? There we go. Let's shrink that right down. And give it a fin with control surfaces. Unless you can put control surfaces on the fin. I don't think you can. No, it doesn't seem to have control surfaces. But the wing, I believe, does. How do you change the length of the control surface? Oh, add control surface. That's there. Okay. That wasn't there on the other one, though, I think. Or was it? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, it is. It is totally there. Okay. I am just blind. I'm going to look over the chat and I bet people are telling me. You can add to fins. Yeah. Okay. Well, now we know. Ah, look, you can control the size of the control surface. So you tap on the control surface itself and you can control that. That's cool. Okay. Those are decent fins for this. We have a control surface. Cool. And yeah, you can just click on the control surface. Oh, that's really neat. So it's actually built into the wing itself. That's cool. I like that. Cool. Okay. And let's pick ourselves a color scheme for this. Got a cosmonaut one, a covert one, Delta, Europa, Dragon. Oh, that one's kind of fun. I like that color scheme. Yeah, we'll go with that. All we need to do is just set the texture of this. Panels? Rivets. We can't change the look of that, so that's as good as we're going to get, I think. Yeah, that's good. Cool. Let's go with that. Have you tried fly out? It's pretty new. No, what's fly out? You can make custom control surfaces by adding wing parts to rotors, but the stock ones are actually part of the wing part. Yeah, I think I like that. I like the simplicity of it. I like the control you get over it. It's quite nice. How does Carnasa join for all Kerbal kind? What do you mean? He just joined. He's the European Space Agency. Go watch his videos. It explains all of it. No offense to Beardy, but the stream is high enough quality. If you don't want to see his face, you can zoom in on the gameplay part of the stream layout. If you zoom in on the gameplay, I made specific effort that the gameplay part is 1080p, right? And the reason I made that choice is because I want to be able to make summary videos of multiple of these streams. So it's actually a very conscious choice. That's why I stream in 1440p. It's so that I can, in the editing software, crop it to that 1080p rectangle, and then I can just have the gameplay when I want the gameplay, or I can show the wider stream when I want to have the wider stream, right? You can make planes in a CAD style editor and the physics are well simulated. Oh, I've seen people building aircraft and stuff in that. yeah, I don't think I have time to play yet another simulator. Right, this just needs to go directly upwards, doesn't it? And then I don't know if we'll have enough explodey potential to actually... I don't know, how much explodey potential do you need to achieve this? It doesn't say. So maybe you can just blow it up with anything. Or maybe you have to go above 10 kilometers, then it'll tell you how much explosive potential you need. Regardless, this should be able to get to 80 kilometers. Yeah, 3,000 boom power, so we're not going to be able to achieve that. That's fine. Is this going to get to 80 kilometers? This might actually be a little bit underbuilt. I think just because our V2 got got there so easily. No, that is not big enough to get to 80 kilometers. We've got about halfway there. Okay, so we need a little bit bigger rocket than that. Okay, our thrust to weight ratio is actually very high, so we can just add a bunch more fuel to this. So you're saying you can't drag and extend a fuel tank with stuff below it. Oh wow, that's still got a thrust to weight ratio of 1.9. So yeah, you can make a long boy rocket and still be fine. That'll probably be okay, right? Yeah, sure. How much explosive potential does this have? There we go. Yeah, so even this single tank doesn't have enough. So we need a much bigger rocket to make big enough fireworks to achieve that contract. So that's fine. The size of that part is small enough that we're just going to make a mission just to accommodate that particular contract. Because we get a lot for it and it's a milestone contract. How'd you come to the idea of Carnasa joining For All Kerbal-Kind? I get you. Okay. Really, because a lot of people requested it. And requested it and requested it and requested it, right? And I kept saying, no, not anyone else, not anyone else. And really, it was seeing Carnasa's... Kerbal Gets Real, the New Millennium series where he starts much later on. He has a certain amount of tech and stuff that I was like, oh, okay, no, this is possible. And it was in later versions of RP1 where they started adding in German and French rocket engines and some of the European Space Agency stuff, and we realized we could configure some of the Kinez mod. Because really, the starting version, there just simply was not enough European Space Agency stuff to make it feasible. There were some early engines and just like nothing else. You wouldn't be able to have an entire career limiting yourself to just the ESA engines. But yeah, I think we just became more open to it as people requested it, and as we chatted to Carnasa a bit and figured out how it would actually work. And then I'm really glad we did, because it's been a really fun addition, and particularly allowing us to have the 3-week upload schedule, which obviously we've dropped away from with me starting a new job, moving to a new town. But yeah, I think once For All Kerbal-Kind starts again, which is starting again on the 14th of January, I think we should be able to maintain that video every single weekend from each of us upload schedule. I'm really excited for it, honestly. I spent most of this afternoon fixing craft files, and really that's been the most time consuming thing. I had to build the whole new install, I had to fix all the craft files to work in the new install. But even just playing today, like the performance is just so much better in the final version of KSP, and the memory leaks I think all got fixed in 1.11. We were in 1.10, so the performance of the game is just so much better. I think it's going to massively speed up the production of videos, and also we have access to so many cool mods and the later features. Oh wow, we did not get much further with that. Yeah, I think we might need to add a couple more engines, maybe taper this rocket a bit. But yeah, we get access to all the cool features of later versions of RP1, or the later versions of all the other mods as well, so it was well worth doing. It took a long time, and I also made a concerted effort to make it as simple as possible to install as well. I sorted all of our mess of configs into a single folder of configs and made it all as simple as possible. That was the wrong one. I wanted to do undo and exit. So that other people could install it and play it, because that wasn't really a focus of the series before. But now a lot of people have followed the mod pack installation guide, and a lot of people are playing it as well and enjoying the game the same way that we are. So yeah, it took a lot of effort to get the install in that place. I'm glad I did. But yeah, it took a long time. That's why we've had a long hiatus. Right, this is going to look really stupid. Like, really, really stupid. But if it's stupid, but it works. Oh, I don't want to do that. Cool. That should definitely be able to reach. Yeah, because you can't resize this part at all. That should be able to reach just fine. And you know what? What we'll do is we'll add a fuel tank here with... Does it have enough explosive potential? Where's the exploding? Oh, there it is. How do I set this to be solid? There we go. Nah, okay, this is just not a big, not a wide enough rocket to do that. That's fine. Okay, let's just try that. This looks really stupid, but it'll be fine. Will you ever play Sins of the Prophets again? Play it again? Yeah, probably. For the channel? No. I don't think so. Unless it's on a stream. I'm really moving away from like game Let's Plays. And I know this is obviously contrary to that, but I'm moving away from game Let's Plays as videos. And it's only going to be Kerbal content and then standalone sort of sciencey videos like the Helium-3 one and the Lego Rocket N1 as well. That sort of stuff. Which is why I'm interested in making like summary videos of these streams, but you know, the actual like Let's Play, you know, that's going to be very heavily edited. The Let's Play itself is all going to be streamed. So I'm only really going to play games, apart from KSP for all Kerbal Kind and KSP 2 updates every now and then. I'm only going to be doing Let's Plays and stuff on stream and then having very highly edited stuff on the channel. So Sins of the Prophets, I'm aware that I bizarrely became like one of the biggest Sins of the Prophets YouTubers. I don't know how that happened. I think it's very well made, but still not that massively played mod. But yeah, I'm like one of the go-to YouTubers. It's like me and Eckhart's Ladder, I think, is the biggest YouTuber who really plays it. Even though he doesn't play it much, he's played it like a couple of times. So the only person who really did series on it was me, which is weird. Like I've seen my own footage used in a number of YouTube videos, people talking about Sins of the Prophets, and I remember I was watching an Ultimate Halo video, and he's talking about like Halo spin-offs and Halo fan games. And then he's like, yeah, Sins of the Prophets. And he's like, yeah, thanks to Beardy Penguin for the footage. So I'm like, wait, what? It was really strange, really surreal experience. Like watching a YouTuber who's way bigger than me, than you know, I'd followed for years, and he said, "Oh yeah, cheers, Beardy Penguin for this footage." And I'm like, "Huh?" That was weird. What happened to your modded Minecraft series? Did you cancel it? Yeah, I cancelled it. I spoke about this a bit in the last stream. Really, I feel like we overbuilt this a bit. Oh, we've got to expose the probe. Is that just that? Aha. Oh, is that that? Oh, it's a little like payload fairing with a little probe in there. Look at that little guy. Okay, and that's that. Cool. Yeah, I spoke about this a bit in the last stream, but yeah, I cancelled To Boldly Go. It was just a mess. Too many hiatuses, too many long breaks, changing hosts, changing mod pack. It was a mess. I'm still continuing development of the mod pack, and I'm really enjoying doing that. You can still watch the series. It's still in the playlist, which is still public, but I made the videos unlisted. Again, I just didn't want them clogging up the watch page and my upload channel page. Same way that subsequent streams to this one are going to be private as well. Well, not private, unlisted. So you can watch them if you want to go watch them in the playlist, and they'll be linked to from any summary videos. But yeah, I don't want to clog up my upload page. I'm a bit OCD about stuff like that. Light speed. Go faster than 1 kilometer a second. I think we can probably do that with our V2, right? And this one. So let's say if we can do these two with the old V2. Might need to make it a little bit bigger, but we can do that. Right. Let's load Smof 1. We can delete Boomstick and Boomstick 2. There we go. Okay, did we make the engine bigger? We did, didn't we? We made it like, yes, no, wait, we're going to make this 75% and make this a bit longer. There we go. Yeah, and if we add control surfaces to these... That's good, I think. Cool. Okay. Let's try this. I've been talking with Carl Nasser about, if not starting from scratch, but starting a soft reboot from around about where we were, of To Boldly Go over on his channel. But we'll have to wait and see. And the mod pack needs a big update before then. It needs to have the whole early game fleshed out with a quest interface and have the inner planets finished. And I haven't had time to do that. All of my focus has been on For All Kerbal-Kind. And I know I haven't had much to show for that because it's all been behind the scenes. But I've been putting a lot of time into For All Kerbal-Kind and the new install and all of that. And really my focus has been getting that back on track. Once that's back on track and the new episode's out and we're back on to regular uploads, I've done a couple of other projects I've got in the works. Maybe we can think about To Boldly Go coming back in a different form. Right, we want to do not that one. Why have we only got 2 active contracts? I thought I accepted the... Oh, we didn't accept it. Ah! I thought we accepted that. There we go. Okay. See if we can do these two. Because we have to crash... Yeah, I mean, to get to those kind of speeds anyway. Yeah. Right, let's go. What's your favorite rocket? Ooh, whatever. I mean... Am I allowed to say the N1? I know it never worked, but like I have such a fascination with the development of it and the history of it. Like I know it never worked, but it's just such an interesting, different take on the same problem with a shoestring budget, and I just find it so interesting. If you want favorite working rocket, I mean, it just has to be Sand 5. I know it's basic, but... Wait, is there a target location for this? Oh, no, it's just the village. Okay. Yeah, it's saying 500 kilometers away from this. There isn't a specific 500 kilometer away target we have to hit, thank goodness. Okay, we should be able to control the rocket a little bit better this time. We're probably just going to head due east, I must say. Or actually, we'll go northwest, so we're going sort of that way, right? Yeah, because that way is east, isn't it? Or is that way east? Oh, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it orients the craft. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, control surfaces are definitely doing bits. Maybe not... Oh, hello. No, that was definitely the wrong way. I wanted to go, like, that away. Yeah, I wanted to go down. Okay, we'll try that again. It's hard to see exactly what your orientation is when you're on the launch pad, because obviously I'm used to you being lined up with east, right? So I don't know what way round I don't know what way around the rocket is on the pad. Deep says one of their top ones as well. Massive Soviet rockets fan. SilentCom20 is neuted. £4.20 at the stream. Hi, Betty. Enjoyed your content since Fall of Kerbin. You really got me into spaceflight. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you very much for the donation. Since Fall of Kerbin, Damn, been around a while. That's a series I'm still proud of. I look back on a lot of stuff and I'm not proud of it, and I've privated a lot of stuff. But man, that series I think aged well. Whereas a lot of other stuff maybe hasn't. And I think the fact that it has a satisfying conclusion as well, like it actually had an ending, probably does a lot of legwork there. Same sort of story with Beyond Kerbal there, really. Like if you have a satisfying ending to something, people go back and really rewatch them like later on. Like so many of the views on Beyond Kerbal and comments and stuff nowadays are people going back and rewatching them. Same with Fall of Kerbin, whereas obviously the series that didn't end really in a satisfying way, Kerbal Rising, Kerbal, no, Collaborative Warfare, people don't tend to go back and watch them, which is very understandable. Ooh, hello. That's a wobbly rocket. Ooh. I was just trying to pitch down a little bit. Maybe I should let the actual UI do it. Let's... What are we trying to do? We're trying to get down range, right? And go really fast. Okay, cool. So, yeah, 500 kilometers away. Reach 80 kilometers. And reach a kilometer per second. I think we're at a kilometer per second. Yeah, easily. So I think we just got to break 80 kilometers before we slow down below that, which I think we should be able to do. Ooh, just about. Not quite light speed, but we're getting there. Nice. Right, let's see if we end up 500 kilometers away. I'm not sure we will. That's actually quite a ways to go, but we'll see. Oh, we might make it. Yeah, it's turned out the water wasn't quite that far away. Yeah, we're not going to get 500 kilometers. We might need to make a bigger rocket or add some staging. Early Atlas rockets are so cool. They are cool, to be fair. I like the videos of the Atlas rocket just imploding because of the balloon tanks. The pressure of the propellant was actually an integral part of the structure. So once they had a depressurization event, the whole rocket just crinkles in like a Coke can. It's really, really cool. But that pre-Saturn era, yeah, you're right, Saturn. It was just pioneer days. The video of me and Carnassa going to the Leicester Space Center when we look at the toothbrush rocket. I mean, it's just a sounding rocket bolted onto the top of a ICBM, and it's just great. I always add a label with my rocket name to the front of the rocket so I know which way is forward. That's probably a good idea. That makes far too much sense. Oh, look at that. Those beautiful parallax trees. And kaboom! Didn't survive this time. Look at that. Beautiful terrain. We'll make some planes at some point. There's nothing there to recover. Saturn 1 looked goofy looking in a good way. Weirdly funny, shorty rocket. Yeah, Saturn 1. Yeah, not the Saturn 1B. Saturn 1B looks quite elegant, but the Saturn 1 is quite... Yeah, it's quite goofy. In a good way. Very much so. Wasn't the mess that was the Lockheed X-33 also a balloon tank thing? I believe that used... I think it's composite overwrap pressure vessels, COPVs, the things that SpaceX uses. I think it needed to do that for the performance they required from it. Most people think that, oh, they shouldn't have cancelled the X-33, which is the Venture Star, people wondering, like a successor to the space shuttle. They thought it would be an SSTO powered by a linear aerospike. And people are like, oh, they shouldn't have cancelled it. It would have been amazing. It was a mess, like an absolute mess. We had someone who actually worked on it come and guest lecture on my uni course, and he was just like, yeah, you see these concept drawings, it has the little like fins, the little vertical stabilizers at the back. They didn't need those. And he's like, they didn't know why they were there. Like literally nobody on the design team could tell you who put them there or why they were there. Like that's how much of a mess the management of that project was. This left hand didn't know Didn't know what the left hand was doing, let alone the right hand. That was never going to work, that project. Some cool things came out of it, linear aerospike and the like, but that was never going to achieve its stated goals. Drew Orbit. The scientist that gave me the probe you sent to space says there's some things for you to do, but he wants to first know for sure you can get to orbit. Can you give it a go? As tutorial. I feel like tutorial's cheating. We can do that without a tutorial, I think. But we need to do going sideways first. And what's this one? 2,000 meters per second. I mean, we'll probably need that to get to 500 kilometers downrange, right? So we'll go for that. And we'll see if we build a bigger rocket. We'll build a 2-stage rocket. And we'll call it Smirnoff 2. So, alright, so this is Smirnoff 1. That's as big as that's going to get. Cool. Now, let's save Smirnoff 2. And there's going to be some bigger engines. How big can we make this boy? Here we go. Pretty chunky, actually. Yeah, pretty sizable. I think we'll probably need it. Actually, can we still do this with a single stage? That'd be kind of cool if we could. Just to like make the whole thing way bigger. Yeah, these wings definitely need to be a little bit larger. What's our starting thrust to weight ratio? 2.5. Crikey, okay. We could probably make this a bit bigger then. Oh, actually, probably if we extend the length of these fuel tanks. So if we take that off and we just make these a little bit longer. Here we are. Oh, that's the wrong axis of rotation. There we go, one like that. Then if we just offset these down a bit. And then we can stretch the front of this so we have a more reasonable starting thrust to weight. Yeah, that's looking nice and ICBM-like. Wouldn't you agree? Because that's obviously the stated goal. How do you just select? How do you select nothing? How do I just deselect all? Close the menu? No. I can do that. There's got to be an easier way to deselect everything just so I can view the rocket though, right? Regardless, I think that looks pretty cool. It's a fair bit bigger. It's quite expensive, but we've got a lot more available funds. I think these pay well enough that we should be able to launch this. So this costs 72k. That's 150k for going sideways, and light speed is 400k. Yeah, I think we're fine. I think we can afford a rocket this large. This looks a little goofy. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's send that 500 kilometers downrange. Hey, Black Eagle's here, apparently. I don't see him in the... Oh, yeah, there he is. Getting 500 kilometers in Juno is super frustrating and burned up so many times at 499 kilometers that it wasn't fun anymore. Thanks for joining us, Black Eagle. A veteran of the XCOM streams. And I don't say that lightly. Not many people survived the XCOM streams. I didn't even survive the XCOM streams. I sent myself on the last mission and I got murdered by a chrysalid. Like, right before the final door. Brutal. Have you played KSP2's For Science update more? I haven't, actually. I enjoyed it a lot, but still, it's got a lot more to go. They haven't finished the campaign yet. I wasn't really interested, and I also encountered a few more bugs. I was like, you know what? Like, I was enjoying it. I was having a lot of fun, but I was like, I don't want to hit the end point of this and then like just have to redo it all again. I thought, wait till the colonies and probably the interstellar stuff is out before I do a proper playthrough. You know, until it exceeds modded KSP1, I'm not that interested in playing it. I had a lot of fun with it. Yes, it's a lot better now. You know, I really did enjoy it. Like, they've recaptured that Kerbal charm, which is the most important thing they had to capture for me. So I was having fun with it, yeah, but yeah, it's still got a long way to go, and I'm not overly interested in playing it. How does this lock heading work? Because it's trying to steer it over here, and that's not where I'm steering it. Really weird that it keeps... Do you see why it keeps, like, the steering keeps going east, and I don't want it to go east? You guys seeing that as well? Anyone got a fix for that? Is Deep still in the chat? Or one of the devs, maybe? Why is that? Because I'm using WASD to control the rocket. Oh, we need to pitch over, like, a lot more. You can throttle that engine right down. We're rolling, now we're getting outside the atmosphere. You have to use the nav ball for that. Lock heading isn't really SAS, but more like an autopilot. Right, okay. So you have to use this. And this does seem to correct to what your WASD inputs are, but not perfectly. So yeah, I am trying to use it like an SAS, and I guess it's not an SAS. Okay. Oh, I do want to lock the heading. Right. Let's see if we can get ourselves to 2 kilometers a second. I think we might just be able to get there. Let's angle ourselves down to the horizon. I think we've got enough altitude now. Oh no! Just shy. Just shy. Oh no, we did complete it. We did get it. Okay, okay. I thought we just missed it. But no, we just hit it. Like, only just hit 2 kilometers a second. Nice. Okay, let's see if we can get that 500 kilometers downrange. That's a lot of money in the bank regardless. For our definitely not missile development program. Whatever Druid nation this is definitely covering up some suspect technological developments from the rest of the planet. But it's fine. I won't tell them if you don't. Oh yeah, I think we're easily going to get 500 kilometers downrange. Oh, we can do proper time warp now because we're up in space. Of course. There we go. Just need to crash into the ground. Cool. Yeah, I think we absolutely nailed that. Oh, we're landing in the water as well. Surprised this is actually surviving as well as it is. Because parts do take heat damage in Juno. Then again, we're not at orbital velocities yet. So that's going to be a big infusion of cash. It's fine, it's camouflage. Nobody else can see it. Yeah, I mean, against the sky, look, you can't see that against the backdrop, right? Nah, you're fine. I think with the ultra mega ridiculous textures, the game is slowing down a little bit. I put it to the ultra super ridiculous textures. I wonder if there's a way of allocating the game more memory. I don't know how much memory it uses by default, but if I could allocate it more memory, that'd be nice, because I have a lot of memory and I'm going to upgrade it soon. Deep, you'll probably know the answer to that. North Druria. There we go. just a bit crispy. When's your video about the Venus rover project? That is in the pipeline. So the first priority, I've actually got my notebook that I put videos in here. And the next thing on my to-do list is the next For All Kerbal Kind episodes. I was working on that yesterday. I'll be working on that all day tomorrow and Sunday, and then next weekend, and that'll be out next weekend. I'm really, really excited for that. Start in a fresh new install, fresh new version, bunch of quality of life stuff, much better performance. It's going to be great. And the start of return to very regular uploads. Should be an upload every weekend. And I'm like not overcommitting there. Like it's once every 3 weeks for each of us, but we stagger it, right? So everyone gets an episode each weekend. And we found that when we released 3 videos at once, some people were complaining it's too much to watch in one go, and some people tune out if there's just too much content. So I think it works better for everyone if you have it releasing at staggered weeks. But after that, the top priority is that Venus rover video, because I finished my degree 6 months ago now, so I really need to get that video done. But yeah, I know what I'm going to do for it. I've got all the clips for it. It took a while to pester my group mates to get all the different video clips and stuff from across the year, but I've got all of those now. It's all consolidated. Yeah, I just need to write the script to make the video. It'll only take like a weekend, I think, a weekend or two to do that. So definitely in the works. It'll probably be out, if not February, it'll definitely be out in March. Right, we're not doing the jump. We want to go for orbit in this stream. We're doing pretty well time-wise. We've got another hour and a bit to reach orbit. I mean, if we're going to go for... We might as well just go for orbit now. I think we can do it. You need to go faster than 3 kilometers a second, yeah. That's for light speed. How fast do we have to go to get to orbit? I assume it's going to be about 3.5 kilometers a second. That's what it is in KSP. Are we going to get Mars mission SSTOs on this playthrough? I mean, maybe. I mean, Mars doesn't exist in this solar system. I don't know what the full list of planets exactly looks like. But yeah, we're going to see some cool stuff in this series. I mean, obviously I'm still learning to play the game, but I'm trying not to use any of the tutorial stuff. No, I don't want to try. I don't want the tutorial. I'm going to do it myself. I think we'll start with this as a first stage. What should we base this off of? Should we base this off of a rocket? Should we base this off of the R7 maybe? That'd be kind of nice, wouldn't it? We'll have a look at what tech we can get first, because I think we do need some more tech. We've got our staging already. We've only got 25 tech points. We have to complete. Yeah, okay, we can't unlock anything else. We should have everything we need to do this though. People saying redstone. Could the redstone? I guess the redstone, yeah, could send stuff into orbit, couldn't it? Yeah, we'll start from scratch. Solero is Juno's Mars. Okay, so that's the Duna / Mars. Okay, we're gonna start with the engine just because I want to know the sort of size. Okay, if we put that to 150, there we go. That's gonna be, yeah, that's probably a decent diameter for the rocket. Actually, it's just that default size. Okay. Oh, that's the interstage, isn't it? Whoops. Okay. Let's start at the top. We're just gonna have a very small, like, kick stage. So we'll put a little fuel tank on there. We're going to try and, yeah, do this like old school, I think. We'll have this be... fuel lines. We can put fuel in the nose cone. There we go. So we've got a little kick stage. It's going to be like the final bit into orbit. Might even make it even hot. 50 centimeters? It does not have to be big, does it? And that's the size of the rocket motor, so... yeah, sure. That can be our kick stage. How much delta V does that have? That is about 0.5 kilometers a second. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Maybe make that a little bit better. Oh, that actually makes it worse. Oh, did we not fill this with fuel? Oh, we need to put fuel in that. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, so we've got about 0.5 kilometer per second in that. Cool. Next, we'll have our interstage. And this is going to very rapidly get wider. I think we'll probably need what, like 3 stages for this? We'll say 3 stages. Should this just go out to... Is it... Do we want like 0.5 meter? Let me change our grid size. There we go. I mean, this is literally how some early rockets looked. But that does look kind of silly, doesn't it? So now we'll have a bit of a smaller second stage. It's going to look janky as heck. But consider it like a sounding rocket, like some of the early Full Kerbal kind rockets. Okay, and this is probably going to fire outside the atmosphere, right? So we probably want the nozzle length to be about that big. We just make this tiny. Is that still got a decent thrust to weight ratio, like outside the atmosphere? You know what? Considering it's the second stage, for a starting thrust to weight ratio, that's not too bad. As long as it's above 1, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. We've got 3 kilometers per second in just that, so it's probably already kind of overbuilt. But we need a first stage just to get that off the ground. So yeah, you know, this is a decent diameter for a rocket, I think. We'll just have this be the diameter of the rocket. And then we just need a first stage. The engine does not need to be that big. .2 meter rocket. Oh, didn't want to do that. Yeah, that engine is still overbuilt. We don't need gimbal on that. We probably do need gimbal on the second stage, though, because this is not going to have much control or authority. Our thrust weight ratio at the start of like, yeah, about 2. That's pretty good. Maybe we'll make this a little bit longer. I mean, I don't know how much delta V we need. It's annoying you can't stretch fuel tanks while stuff is attached to them. I don't know if I like that. Okay, yeah, so we disable the gimbal on this, and then we can just add ourselves some control surfaces. There we go. Got our fin. Bada bing, bada boom. I didn't want to do that. There we go. Yeah, sure, that's fine. That's good enough. Okay, what do we think, guys? Trust me, your first orbital rocket is never overbuilt. The tutorial rocket uses 3 stages. Yeah, I mean, this looks akin to what some early orbital rocket designs looked like. So, you know what? I think I'm fine with that. I'm just going to move my microphone a bit further out of the way because it's irritating me. There we go. Okay. Let's give it a paint scheme. The most important part of any mission. Redstone couldn't send stuff to orbit. I think it could with the right upper stages. Not in one stage, but I think they strapped kick stages to the top of it and got stuff into orbit with the redstone. I might be wrong. You kind of can make the fuel tank bigger with stuff attached using the part editor. How so? This thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Part shape? No, is it this one? Oh, yeah. I see. Okay, yeah, but that's still not ideal. I get why they did it, but it's still a bit irritating. Still, doesn't really matter. Okay, let's give this thing a paint scheme. I mean, should we keep the military theme? Or do we want to go for something a little bit... mono. That looks kind of cool. Sure. Let's have some decent textures. Panels, maybe? Maybe I want the interstage to have a slightly different texture. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Okay. Speed lines to make it go faster. Indeed. Yeah, so this is all stages. So we need to sort our stages out before we have a look at each one. But I think it should have calculated it okay. So interstage and the gnome engine. And there we go. Okay, so stage 1. We got massive starting thrust to weight ratio. Stage 2. Slightly low thrust to weight ratio. You might want to make stage 2 a little bit shorter actually. Maybe stage 1 a bit longer. Because stage 1 still got a mass. Yeah, I think we'll make stage 2 a bit on the shorter side. Because it's a bit much at the moment. There we go. And we can always extend this if we need a bit more performance. And now our final little kick stage with 4 kilometers per second total. I mean, I think that's... yeah, we're checking this in vacuum, you're right. So stage 1 we want... there we go. So that's a better thrust to weight ratio. Well, more accurate thrust to weight ratio. Makes more sense there. Yeah. Okay. 1 kilometer per second, and then we should be pretty much out of the atmosphere by the time this one ignites. So this one will be a bit better. 2 kilometers per second. Okay. Right, I think that's fine. I think we'll save that. Right, what are we calling this one? Should we just do different alcoholic beverages? We had Smirnoff. Have a different brand of vodka. Should we call this one Absolute? Without an E? Sure. Yeah, let's... Oh, did we remove gimbal from the first stage? I think we did. Yeah, we did. Did we remove it from this one? No, we didn't. Good. We need gimbal for that one. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Let's do this thing. Do you think that Helios and For All Mankind gets a monopoly over the entire industry? Well, they don't get a monopoly over the lunar mining. That's a plot point in the opening montage of season 4, in that they lose an antitrust lawsuit, so they don't become the sole miner of helium-3 on the moon. But I've only watched the first episode of season 4 so far, so no spoilers for any later. Okay, Orbit Drew. Here we go. You guys ready? This is it. I guess we want to go due east. We won't lock the trajectory immediately this time. Or lock it while we're going straight up. But yeah. Right, here we go. Doubt this has enough delta V, but maybe. I mean, it's over 4 kilometers a second. So, I don't know. I'm basing my numbers off of Kerbin. I don't know how big a rocket has to be for Drew. Let's find out, I guess. We'll probably just use this to control it. It's a little bit easier. It's what it's designed for, after all. Oop. Yeah, it is a bit easier to control with this. I was trying to use WSD and play it like it's KSP, but it's not KSP. Oh, was that our first stage? Already burnt out. Kaboom! Next stage, go! It's not as high up as I thought we were. We probably need to stretch that first stage, make the engine a bit bigger. But yeah, this is... is already... overexpanded, so yeah, we're a little too low in the atmosphere for a vacuum nozzle still. We have unlocked the map view though. Yeah, I think this thing is massively underbuilt, possibly. Then again, there wasn't a huge amount of delta V in that first stage. Oh, Drew is twice the diameter of Kerbin. Right. Okay. I didn't realize it was that big. So that means it's what, 1/5 scale, which to be fair is better scale, because like the KSP parts really are balanced for whatever JNS, is it JNSQ scale, which is like it is half scale, I think. So you build, you know, a Saturn V size rocket with the stock parts, and it has the performance you'd expect. It gets you to the moon. Whereas if you build a Saturn V size rocket in just the stock solar system, it's massively, massively overbuilt just for going to the moon. In KSP. Velociraptor's here. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We're playing Juno New Origins, and we're hopefully getting to orbit, but I think this rocket is possibly a little underbuilt. Yeah. I don't think we're going to make it. No. Okay. This needs to be a lot bigger. But thankfully, we can do that. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Let's like double the amount of delta V this thing has. This is going to need to be a fair bit bigger. I think we'll make this bit wider. And that'll be a good starting point. Let's go for a radius of 0.3 for this whole rocket. So this engine needs to be bigger. Much bigger. Let's just go for 100% and then scale the size of this fuel tank. Go for 4 meters. Has that still got a positive thrust to weight ratio? Yes, it has. Very cool. Okay. That's a fair bit bigger. How much delta V do we have now? Less. The planets and Juno, the sun, are 1/5 realistic scale, but the star system is 1/10 scale, so interplanetary stuff is less daunting. Right, okay. That makes sense. Around 6k is a safe bet, though maybe too much. Okay, so we're aiming for 6k. What have we done wrong here then? Maybe the mistake was making this so much larger. I don't know why this is like snapping to weird amounts. You set the grid size to 0. We can, there we go. We can change that. Okay. Probably need to stretch this second stage now. Oh, we need to make this engine bigger. That would be a start, wouldn't it? We hadn't scaled the engine up yet. Until it can fit within the fairing ideally, but also the nozzle length. We want it so, I mean, we started firing this stage at what, about 20 kilometers, if that? So we want it really ideally expanded for that. So yeah, probably leave it about 100 then. So if that one's at 100, what was the other one at? That's at 25. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I think about 100 is probably about right, because it was massively overexpanded before. If we're not using it all the way in a vacuum, then I think that about 100% is a good way to go. I'm being told a solid first stage might be useful. Interesting, because they justify this with Juno being a blue dwarf, implying for the lore that the game is set nearing the end of the universe. That's interesting. That's quite cute. What's the most underrated rocket? That's a good one. I'm gonna say I don't think the Cosmos rocket gets enough love. It's like the most launched Soviet launch vehicle, I think. Launched a ridiculous number of times and nobody knows it existed. Same with like the Cyclone as well. Yeah, the R7 gets all the love, but there are a lot of like workhorses that people don't know actually existed. That are pretty cool, that I will be creating in full Kerbal Kind. They already made something similar to the Cosmos rocket, which I called the Cosmos rocket. But I am making a Cyclone soon. So I have the engines for it now. They've added so many new engines and jet engines as well to the Soviet tech tree. Yeah, I keep singing the praises of the latest version that we're in. It's pretty good. We're at 5 kilometers a second now. It's diminishing returns, adding more stages. We did put fuel in there, right? Yeah. That doesn't really impact our delta V much. Stretching any of these stages again is going to be diminishing returns. How much thrust to rate ratio do we have on the pad? I mean, yeah, we can stretch this till it's a you know, as long as it's a positive thrust to weight ratio, it doesn't matter, right? So 1.2. Yeah, that's fine. So 2.64, and then by the time we're in vacuum, almost 6. Maybe that'll be enough? We'll need to add like booster rockets and stuff onto this, but we don't have radial decouplers yet, so I don't really want to do that. If I can avoid it, really. Adding another stage is, at this point, would just be diminishing returns, unless we added a massive, like, solid stage to just yeet it into the sky. Which, to be fair, if this doesn't work, we might try. But yeah, I think this will be fine. I think we'll stretch this just a little bit more, get a little bit more bang for our buck out of that second stage. Yeah, 5.61 kilometers per second. That should hopefully be enough. We'll see. Let's do this. As one or more issues. What are our issues? Too tall for the selected launch location. 10 meters is greater than 10 meters. It's exactly too tall. Interesting. Wow, we like exactly hit it. Well, okay, so it can't be any taller than this. This is as tall as it can get, so we'll just have to get wider. We'll make the stages wider and the engines bigger if this fails, but three stages should be enough. Let's just check our staging before we go. Yeah, cool. Right, let's try this. This one I got a good feeling about, but it's second try, so we know that it's probably not going to work. Third time is always the lucky one, as they say. Yeah, I'd love it. Public Static just said, yeah, limited to 10-meter rockets on this launch pad, and I didn't even notice. Right, so we're immediately going to set our heading to east when we take off, and then we'll yeah, okay, right, let's do this. Here we go. Orbit Drew. That's what we're trying to do. We'll have this start pitching our rocket. Ooh, that's a bit much. Don't want to pitch over that quickly. How far do you think For All Mankind will go? Well, I mean, in Gene Kranz's speech in season 1, he's like, oh, we'll go further. We'll go to the stars. We'll go to the galaxy. And at the time, I was like, huh? I wonder if, you know, they've got plans for like 7 seasons or something insane like that. So, yeah, maybe they will get to that point. I don't know. But yeah, they seem to be angling for like interstellar travel and stuff, which I never realized they'd go that far with the alternate history. But I don't know if the interest is going to be there once it gets past our modern day, right? Because then it's not alternate history, it's then just sci-fi at that point. It loses some of the thrill, I think, of it. Yeah, there we go. That's a much better expansion ratio. What's our apoapsis? Ah, here we go. Okay, so 50 kilometers. So we need an apoapsis of... Do we get orbit details on this? How do we get our... Not that one. This one, here we go. Trajectory. There we go. Boom, flight info. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. We're not quite east, but good enough. I'm not going to change our inclination now and potentially waste any delta V. How much fuel are we looking at? Oh, plenty actually. Oh, I think we might make this actually. I think this might work. We probably could have had a longer nozzle than this. A wider nozzle. Because now we're massively underexpanded. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be spending at least half of this burn time almost in vacuum. So if we need to make performance improvements, I think that will be what we do. Depends how close we get to orbit. Our apoapsis is at 80 now, so we probably want to pitch right over. We've got quite a while until our apoapsis as well, actually. Thing is, we don't actually need the apoapsis to be that far ahead of us because our kick stage will just burn out within like a second or two. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to make this. I'm not used to Juno New Origins. I don't know. It's getting close, though. It's certainly getting close. We're just about to burn out. So once we burn out, what we'll do is we'll wait until we get to our apoapsis. And then we'll fire that kick stage. We'll lock it prograde. Orbit pro. No, wait. We want the orbital velocity. There we go. Okay, we were actually wasting a bit of delta V there, burning at that angle. Here we go. We achieved light speed, and we achieved orbit. Yeah! We did it. There we go. 5.5 kilometers per second, roughly. First orbit. Check it out. Et voila. You can manage it with a better gravity turn. We could have done a better gravity turn, yeah. I'm not used to the controls of the game yet. I'm not used to the readouts of the game. Or just the fact you have control over the nozzle length and so many different details of the rocket. I need to just get out the muscle memory of thousands and thousands of hours of KSP. But there we have it. We can time warp up to our apoapsis, which is actually quite a ways away from the planet. Was it F? Which F key is it to? Is it F8? No, that's quick save. F10? I want to check I haven't got any hotkeys set on the stream, because I know I have some F keys set as hotkeys on Streamlabs. Hotkeys. Just want to check I didn't set any. No, I haven't set any. Okay, what was it to turn the UI off? Was it F10? F10. Yeah. Look at that little probe that could. Not gonna lie, I didn't think that we would actually. I didn't think we would actually reach orbit on the first stream. I know I wanted to. I didn't expect the Baby Sergeant kickstage approach. I mean, I think I'm just too used to playing Realism Overhaul. Where really this is a really good approach to reaching your first orbit. Because you have a tiny, very lightweight stage at the top. and you get so much delta V out of it, just that massive kick just to head into orbit. When it doesn't matter exactly what orbit you're getting into, you just need to get into orbit. It's actually a very good approach. Look at that, beautiful Drew beneath this. Are we achieving any milestones? Don't know how many altitude milestones there are. And that is the highest point. Look at that. Orbit! First stage engine capabilities really limit you. Yeah, very much so. Particularly when you're limited to like 10 meters and you don't have radial boosters. Like, yeah. You don't want to be clustering engines, so... Yeah, I mean, we're still using the Gnome, which is basically just like an ethanol engine, right? Like, akin to the V2A4 rocket engine. So the performance, you know, the ISP is only in the high 200s. Thrust isn't amazing. But we managed it. I like this scale. I like that it's half scale. It means you can build realistic looking rockets and have them perform how you'd expect with how everything's balanced. Unlike KSP, where you build a realistic Saturn V, as I said, and it's just ridiculously overbuilt. But of course it's still smaller, so it's still more manageable. Because the main thing about realism overhaul and real scale solar system in KSP is it just takes ages to get to orbit. It takes like a full 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes to get to orbit because the planet's so massive, you're burning engines for so long. So from a gameplay perspective, and from being a beginny, I managed to fuse beginner friendly into one word. A beginny game, yeah, beginner friendly game. I like scaling down, but I think half scale actually makes a lot more sense because it's not that much more delta V to get into orbit at half scale. And yeah, I just think it, with the size of the rockets and everything, it scales a lot nicer. But yeah, I don't think there's a huge amount of point in in leaving this in orbit, right? So we'll probably just blow it up. Should we blow it up? Bit of kaboom. Click again to destroy this part, right? Kaboom! End flight. Oh, I don't want to do that. Save flight. There we go. Right, well, honestly, I was planning to go until 10. But I think that's a pretty good place to leave this first stream. Oh, we have a new customer. So we'll check out the career. We'll see what we can get in the tech tree. And then we'll probably call it for the day. Because if you couldn't tell, it's been a very long week for me. I haven't had much sleep. Readjusting back to the work schedule. So I've been mixing my words up. And I haven't been giving the most incredible commentary. But thank you, all 70 odd of you, for joining today. Thank you to SilentCalm20 and Corsaro Volante for donating. Very greatly appreciated. Thanks all for watching. Who is Professor von Pricklesback? And once again, the helmet's return. Why is she wearing a helmet on top of the lab coat? Who knows? And who cares? As much of a wacky scientist Pricklesback may be, he is one of the most renowned researchers on Drew. He is looking for some help to gather data to prove the presence of other forms of life in the Juno system. Oh, that's interesting. It's actually like a little story. Guten Tag. Can you go to orbit? I need you to be close to a very specific orbit. So that would be a nice challenge for our first stream back, which will be next Friday, same time. Very cool. And a satellite mission. Bring some satellites to orbit. Start with something easy. You can put a CubeSat into any orbit. So I assume we need to unlock like payload fairings, and they'll give us a satellite that we need to place into orbit. That's cool. I like the contract structure, actually. I was told that... I say I was told. The Scott Manley video said that like the career mode wasn't much to write home about. But this is cool. They're giving you actual payloads to launch. I think it flows a lot nicer than the KSP-1 career mode does, really. RP1 is, you know, a thing of its own. I think RP1 is great. But I'm really enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. It eases you into it. It's got a really good tutorial. I don't get why this game doesn't get so much more love. And I'm glad to be doing my bit to give it a bit more love. Let's have a look at the tech tree. So we've got 145. I mean, we're going to need a payload fairing, right? If we're going to be launching satellites. So let's grab ourselves a payload fairing. What else do we need? What other contracts have we got here? We're not going to do the jump. Maybe we'll do some plane stuff next stream. We'll see. See how we feel. Go faster than 4 kilometers a second. I mean, we know we can do that. So we'll just accept that. Yeah, we'll do the CubeSat. And we'll do draw orbit. So we can put the CubeSat into that specific orbit and just complete all 3 of those in one go. If we can get some better engines or some radial decouplers, that would be very nice. Orbital maneuvers. We don't really need RCS yet. Oh, Spirit engine though. Attitude adjustments. Nah. What's this? Soyuz interstage. I get a few different interstage styles. That's cool. What's this? Catch them all. That's the parachute and stuff. What do we get here? We get heat shields. This is all entry, descent, and landing, I think. Yeah, it is. We don't need entry, descent, and landing just yet. Gas generators. And a bigger engine. Yeah, that's what we want. And then we got bigger solid boosters here, but we can't quite afford that. Explosives with a hole. I like the names of the nodes. They're good fun. Old school, packing it tight. Cool. Should we get the parachutes? Mechanical engineers, struts, blocks, but we'll get this. We'll get that. I can't go wrong with that. Cool. And we'll leave it there for today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do hope you've enjoyed. Stay safe, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week. Let me know if you've enjoyed this stream, if you want me to keep doing these every week. I would say I would love to. I'd really love to do these each week. Soon I'm changing my working hours at work, so I'm moving to a compressed work week. I'll just work Monday to Thursday, so I'll have all of Friday off, which means I'll be a little less exhausted for the stream, and I'll be able to dedicate all of my Friday to YouTubing. So yeah, I've wanted to get into regular streaming for a while, but I wanted to do it properly, make a stream interface, start recording, make summary videos. So maybe after actually I think this is quite a big first step going to orbit, right? So maybe I'll make a summary video of this stream itself. I don't know when I'll do that. For Kerbal Kind and the Venus rover video are the priority at the moment, but the next video will be next weekend. So I'll have my next stream next Friday. Same time as this one, 7 PM UTC. And then the following Sunday, we should, fingers crossed, have For All Kerbal Kind. The next episode. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Stay safe and have a lovely weekend.